Welcome to my sewing room. Today we're going to add a couple of borders to my simple baby quilt. Here's my quilt, and my first border is going to be a thin 2.5 inch border. And since it's a baby quilt, I will not have to piece this strip. It will probably be long enough. There's 2.5. Let's see if it's about right. I'm going to see if it's long enough, and it looks like it'll be just fine. So I'm going to cut 4 2.5 inch strips to go around my quilt. One thing you need to do when adding borders is you don't want to just put it together and sew. First you have to pin, because the bottom wants to go a little bit faster than the top and they don't come out just right. So you can use a lot of pins, or you can use a few pins, or you can measure to make sure they're both the same length. But I just like to lay it flat and pin it. It usually works out for me that way. One more pin, and then I'm going to sew this together. Oops. I'm going to sit down at my sewing machine, start at the top, and sew this all together. After sewing 2 borders on, here's one and here's the other one, I'm going to trim off the tails. You can see that. If I can find my cutting ruler and my rotary blade here. So, line that up so it's straight and cut it off. And do that all the way around. Then I'm going to add a border right here on both sides. Okay, I've added a 2.5 inch border all the way around my quilt top, and I'm going to add one more border. This time I'm going to make it a big border. It's going to be 6 inches, and I've lined up the salvage edge here, but the edge on the outside edge here is not straight, so I want to straighten that up. I've got the salvage and the fold lined up with my mat, and I want to make a nice straight line here. Throw that away. Okay, how about a 6 inch border? There's one, and I need to cut 4 6 inch borders. I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to pin right along here. Just hold it together and smooth it along. We want them to be just the same length, and this is my way of getting them to be just the same. Then we're going to sit down at the machine and sew them together. All the way down to the bottom. Great, I've added 2 borders, and I'm going to add one more, and guess what? It just fits. If it didn't, if this strip was too short, I would just add a little bit. I'd piece, but it just fits. So I'm going to pin it along here and sew it on, and do the same to the other side. Our quilt top is done. It measures 44 by 49.5. Hope you can see how pretty it is with all that green and pink. Next time you come to my sewing room, we'll figure out how we're going to make this into a quilt with batting and backing and even a binding.